What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Hoops Crew Media Network. My name is Ben Reeve. The fella to the right of me, which was right, that's right. This is the Nuff Show. His name is Paul James. How are you going, Paul?
Look, a bunch of nuffies aren't meant to know their left from right, so don't stress. We're good. We're
I'm
off
all
to a
turning
rocking
around
start.
with the cameras here, so for future, it's that way. So I can't get it right. That's okay. This is why this is called the Full Nuff Mode Show, mate. So, if you're watching for the first time, all right, so this is our new Sunday night show. Paul and I have been doing this kind of thing, for a year or two now, Paul, is it? I think on a Sunday night. We've been mostly reviewing the Catters games at the end of the weekend, but we've got the Chaps Chat Cats on board now, so we're going to let them do the really deep analytical stuff on a Monday night when they do their show. That usually drops on the YouTube space around about 10-ish or something like that. You can usually get it as an audio or on Patreon a bit sooner than that. But check that one out. But we're just gonna unpack things. We're gonna be very loose on this show. We're gonna be our best nuffy selves. Now, what is a nuffy? If you're watching this from overseas and you're like, what is a nuffy? I've heard other words for the use for the words nuffy. So the way we're using the word nuffy, it's basically someone who's it's a term of affection, really. You're a bit of an idiot. You're a bit of a loser. You might just kind of wear your colours. You might paint your face or whatever. Yeah, that's kind of how we're taking it at this stage anyway. But it's not meant to be mean. That's just how it is. But anyway, let's get on with the game. How are you going, Paul? Have you got the Mozzie situation under control? Because I know we had some issues with it the other night.
I've error guarded up. I've got a little portable bug zapper. If this doesn't do the job, I don't know what will. Also, if we could stop getting summer in autumn, that'd be sweet.
Well, I heard a good argument the other day to move summer to from December to January. Start summer in January and finish it in March. I think it's probably the way to go. All right, mate. Let's get on with the show. Let's have a look at some of the results from the round. I might just pull up this. There we go. Beautiful. So on Thursday night, we had Sydney against Melbourne and winning 86-64. Reasonably comfortable in the end. Melbourne looked a bit sloppy in that one. The Lions, somehow, I thought most of us went to bed at this point, but somehow Carlton came back from, 46 points? We'll talk about this in a minute.
46 points.
Won it by a point thanks to a bloke who normally can't kick. And then on the Saturday, we had the Gold Coast Suns absolutely torch the Tigers, and didn't we love it? 99-60, and then finishing off the weekend, premiership hanger maybe. The Giants did the Pies dirty, 114-82. Paul, shall we start with the Sydney Melbourne game to start with?
Let's do it.
Footy's back, mate. How good was it to have footy back?
I don't know. I thought it's kind of round zero. I don't know if it's really back, right?
Yeah, an extension
Just
of the preseason, maybe.
Real deal.
Yeah. What did you think of the opening round in general? I mean, I guess that opening remark might sort of give some indication as to that.
Look, I see it as them, and I think that's what most people would kind of think. They're just taking an opportunity to have a crack at the Northern States while the rugby's out of town. But was there not rugby down here in Victoria while we were abandoning the homeland?
Yeah,
this weekend?
Melbourne Storm might have had a win or something like that.
So well done, AFL. Nailed it.
Absolutely nailed it. No, he gave up the heartland to get those Northern States. But I think the biggest thing for me was they didn't have footy on Sunday, and then there's no footy on Monday. I don't know what that's about, but anyway, I thought it was okay. I was happy with it. I just wish Geelong was playing. That's all. I can't really get into it until Geelong's playing. But what can you do? Now, what about who did you like? Now, I'm going to ask you first up. Did you watch every single game? I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I did watch every single game. I zoned out, I think, one of them because it was getting a bit. I think the GWS Collingwood game towards the end, it was looking like that one's over. But did you catch every single game, or was it a few of them, or what?
I didn't see all of every single game, but I certainly sat down and watched good chunks of every single game. Watched Thursday night in full, watched the majority of Saturday afternoon in full, fell asleep during Brisbane and Carlton and woke up to Carlton suddenly being in front after being down by about 40-odd points, and that was the shock of my life. And, yeah, you kind of see the writing on the wall for the Pies, so I've got a few plates I'm spinning at the moment, so I was kind of bouncing between that and watching the footy from time to time, trying to KO it from the phone while playing PlayStation at the same time.
Well, you got to try. You got to do what you can, mate. Well, I liked the Sydney Melbourne game. I thought, I guess it was billed as the Brody Grundy versus his old mob in Melbourne. It probably was a bit of a nothing really game. The skills were really terrible. There was sloppiness all over the ground. Sydney did enough. They weren't fantastic either. I thought I was expecting a little bit more from Sydney. Expect a lot more from Melbourne after all the hype that they're still going to be around. But I can't remember if I picked him for my top 8. But I didn't really like it. I thought Brody Grundy played really well. Isaac Henny was pretty good. And the other one for me was probably Jack Viney from Melbourne. I thought he was competitive. He looks like an absolute beast at the moment. So
let's be real. If you want to see a good game of football, don't play it at the SCG. The ground's too small, and so you can't get any. Like, it just becomes this really gross, defensive, ugly mess. Not because of necessarily the way the teams want to play, but because of the size of the ground. It's just not compatible. Yeah. So, free flowing in the SCG just doesn't really work.
A hot, dewy night, balls slipping around everywhere.
That didn't help either.
No one could clunk it. An injury out of the game, though. Bowie did a shoulder, collarbone. I think he collided with someone. Looked nasty live when I was watching it, but he could be out for the next 8 weeks or so. It's absolute
the Starman's got a bit of a break. So
there's absolute carnage in the AFL this opening round. We'll cover some of those other injuries that occurred, but goodness,
quietly okay with Geelong missing this round. If that was kind of the tone for the week.
We've already had Guthrie, but we've talked about that to death anyway. And probably the other big thing out of the game, apart from the Grundy Gawn stuff, was just the Swans' 150-year anniversary and them trotting out all their old premiership cups and the old players and doing their... What was that little march called? Did you see that? They were... I don't know.
It was almost a walk to the G style thing.
What was that about? Anyway.
Which I guess considering SCG, they can still call it that, right?
I think they can, yeah. It just looked odd. That was all. So who knows whether they'll keep doing that. But anyway, it was an okay start to the season, but I think most of us probably get used to the Richmond Carlton game that opens up the season, which we have got to wait to round 1 or round 0.5 or whatever it is. I don't care.
Look, I've heard a bit of the traditional media coming out and going, "Oh, we needed a game in Melbourne because of the rugby thing." And like, if you do that, then suddenly you become exactly what all the interstate and I mean, even our mate Phoenix Foster will say, it's just it's the VFL and all those sort of things that. If you're going to do it, you got to lean into it and do it properly and avoid the homeland as much as it might be tempting, or make sure that every single state is represented, like just one game in each of the 5 states. But at that point, you may as well play everyone, right? So lean into what they're doing. Maybe next year it's WA and South Australia or something like that to kick it off. I don't know, but I think considering what they went for, they then probably made the right decision, and they certainly made the right decision to not play one in Victoria, but. It's at the same time, it's a weird start as a result. We know there's a couple buyers coming in round 2 and round 3, or is it just round 3? When I don't know when they're spread out.
There's a few in the early rounds. I would have played every single game, every team, just like another gather round, but open the season with it and have your Adelaide gather around a bit later on, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, before we jump to the next game, there is a couple of comments here. I'm going to get through these as go. And this is, I really encourage comments on this show because this is very interactive, this space. We're not going to do the webcams on this one. It's just me and Paul for the most part. But we do want you to engage in the chat. So we've got Corey, and we'll come back to you here, Corey, a bit later.
More on that soon.
Paul's got the barrel loaded, but is there a bigger flog in the current game than Mason Cox? And what previous opposition player would compete with Cox for that title? Sam Mitchell for me was a flog, but not everyone agrees with that. But, what about you, Paul? Someone from the past that is a bit of a flog.
I mean, I probably shouldn't say it because he's kind of a local for me, and we haven't had a huge number of players that have done a great job at the AFL level. But Ryan Crowley's a gigantic flog.
Yes, I concur. And another one before we move on to the next game. Blake Brown, opening round, quite solid in his opinion, in my honest opinion, or my opinion. I'm with you there, Blake. I thought it was okay. The only thing I would have done is probably had every single team travel up north and play. That's probably my thing. I don't know. Could I have gone up this weekend? No, couldn't afford it. Got all the kids with me, and it's times 5. Would I have liked to? 100%. Get out of Victoria. 40 degrees in Victoria today. I I don't know. We'll see. Paul, Brisbane versus Carlton. Now, this is the game that Paul fell asleep in, guys. So he's woken up. Like a lot of people, Paul, you're probably not the only one. You've fallen asleep when Brisbane's probably 46 points up.
I woke up with about 2 minutes to go. So I woke up for, the best part. But, yeah.
Charlie Cameron's celebrating after kicking a goal like he's won a grand final. We've seen that before. And then the Carlton just went on a rampage and somehow hung on at the end, which I don't know how. Brisbane couldn't score a point to at least draw the game. That would have been super funny if Carlton had had 2 draws to start their year off 2 years in a row. But yeah, that was absolutely crazy. But on the downside, Paul, and I want to get your thoughts on this. A couple of ACLs out of this game. Sam Doherty and Kitty Coleman. Oh my God.
Obviously, Kitty Coleman kind of sucks as a clear rising star for the comp and was. I mean, if the Lions won, you could probably make the argument that he was BOG that day, which gets into something we discussed during the summer series. People should go check all that out. But I rambled a bit about that particular subject matter. But yeah, Doherty, of course, between the now 3 ACLs, the testicular cancer, all these different things that he's had to go through. Guy can't catch a break.
No.
And it was such an innocuous one too. Like it was nothing compared to what we saw from Kitty Coleman, which to be fair, kind of looked more like a hyperextension at the time than an ACL. But a bit of carnage to come out of that one.
Absolute carnage. And Kitty Coleman was pretty close to winning the Norm Smith too. If maybe the result had gone slightly different, we could be talking about him winning a premiership and a Norm Smith medal. But now, as it sits now, we're not seeing him till 2025 unless they do some radical surgery or something on him.
Does anyone do the Lars surgery anymore? I don't think so.
I don't know if they risk it anymore, but I can't remember the last time someone did the Lars surgery. Let's talk about Harry. Harry, the goal at the end there to win the game. Harry the hero. I can't believe he kicked that. For all money, I thought he's kicking this out in the full. He's stubbing his toe on the turf as he's running in. Did you? I'm assuming you've seen the replay of that. I cannot believe.
Oh no, like I said, I woke up for about the last 2 or 3 minutes, so I.
Okay.
So you saw that. See that bit play out. Yeah.
Right.
There was a lot of confusion to see Carlton kicking a goal within minutes of regaining consciousness. To see Carlton kicking a goal to put them in the lead, that really, I thought I hit some sort of time warp or something like that. Considering, but
it was. I don't know what was going on there, but Charlie.
Why is no one calling it the miracle on grass? By the way, can we call it that so we can just strip the Geelong Brisbane game of that title?
Yes, I actually was feeling. It took me back to that when Cats were up by, was it 50 something like that?
53 or something like that. Yeah,
Ash McGrath's 250th game, and he kicked the goal after the siren to win it. Oh my God! Thank God. No, I was very happy with Carlton winning that one. I like Charlie Kerner. He didn't do he was inconsistent, but he bobbed up and went absolutely bonkers at one stage. He was great. Patrick Cripps was great. What did you think of Lachie Neale? And I know, and people, he's not. Paul has a new segment on this show. This is a new show, but there is a segment called Nuffy of the Week. I was thinking about putting Lachie Neale's name forward because he could pretty much get it every week if he wanted to. But him and what's his name, Hewitt, came to blows at some point. I think Hewitt might have given him some chin, and then he came back with a bit of a punch in the ribs at one point. So apparently that's just worthy of a fine these days. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I guess the initial punch to the chops from George Hewitt probably should have copped a whack. And considering what we've seen Hawk get in trouble for with jumper punches over the years, I'd make the argument that Lachie Neale should have copped it too. As much as they're kind of soft things, like the line has kind of been drawn when it comes to the rules, so they should have been getting penalised, and yet both of them got a slap on the wrist, and we move on.
Yep, and Alistair Clarkson, the Kangaroos didn't play, but Alistair Clarkson got another slap on the wrist as well.
2 weeks suspended sentence.
2 weeks suspended. They love him. He could do no wrong. He could, well, I don't want to say murder because it's pretty topical at the moment.
Punch a child and get away with it.
Yeah, he could slap a child in the face on the boundary and still, get away with anything he really wants there. All All right, now that before we get on to the next game, Paul, there is some big news. I have to announce some big news. The Brad Close the Brad Close bobblehead did arrive during the week. That is not the big news. The big news is also Cam Guthrie arrived as well, but and I'm still waiting on Sam DeConnie. No, that is not the
correct
big
head
news.
of hair for Cam Guthrie. I see.
It's a full head of hair. Yes, it's the old. That's what we want, though. We don't want a cursed bobblehead.
No,
we want the original bobblehead.
He's got to learn from these injuries. He's got to learn.
No,
Cam, grow it out while you're off. While you got your injury layover. Serious, mate. It's your magic power. Superhero.
It's not the big news, though. The big news is the channel, the Hoops Crew, has officially passed 1,000 subscribers. So thank you very much. Thank you to the 1,000th subscriber, but also thank you to all those hundreds of subscribers that joined us very, very early in the piece. Got to go a couple of years now that have stuck with this whole way. Have kept us going, really, to be totally honest with you.
They saw something in us that we didn't.
And we still can't see it, but I don't know what you're saying.
I don't know. I don't know what they're talking about.
But we really appreciate it. We've got more big news coming, but I'm not going to talk about that one yet. Paul, I think you know where I'm going with that. I'm going to save that for possibly later in the week, maybe even game day. We'll see how we go. But some even bigger news than that's coming too, or at least it's big news for us. So, all right. So let's talk about the Gold Coast Richmond game. Actually, let's just see what Corey says here. Corey, we were talking about who's the biggest flog. I think, and Corey's like, yeah, he thought Mitchell and Ballantyne as well. Ballantyne probably is the all-time flog, let's be honest. I think that's pretty fair. All right, so the Gold Coast Richmond game, how good? What was it, like 11 goals straight or something like that for Gold Coast at one point? What's the Nuff choice of drink tonight, Paul? Is it
it's just some leftover solo, to be fair.
Leftover solo, very nice. We've got the 11 goals straight from the Gold Coast Suns at one point. And I was thinking, this is fantastic. The era for Richmond is over. Bring in the Suns. Paul, you would have been pretty happy. You did pick Gold Coast Suns to finish, what?
In the 8?
First on the ladder? No, 8.
You're not quite. But they'll make it. And,
they are right now, first on the ladder. So first time ever for them.
10% of the way towards exceeding their best ever output in an AFL season. Long may it continue.
And this is probably another game, Paul. If you were feeling a bit drowsy, you might have had another little nap. But if you did, you would have missed Richmond kicking the next 7 goals. So, and I was trying to think back to when the last time I saw a team kick 11 goals or something like that, and then the other team respond with an equivalent amount or thereabouts. So 11 and 7.
I think Geelong's been involved in a few of those sort of games in recent years where there's been a bit of a barrage, and then we've bounced back.
Yeah, I think there was a Bulldogs game a few years back. Bulldogs Sydney. I'm going way back, like I reckon it must be 20 years or something like that. I have to look. I'll get Sir Swamp Thing onto that one, but I'm sure there's a few games like that. But that was crazy. Look, I thought Gold Coast they looked okay. I don't know. Did you see any of the Gold Coast game, Paul? And what did you think of the Suns?
No, I watched a lot of that one. Really enjoyed what was on show, and outside of the fact that it was during daylight hours, didn't fall asleep either, just because it was awesome to watch Richmond getting pantsed. And then when they finally started to clap back, it was kind of, I guess, gripping television at that particular point too. So there was a very theatrical component to what was going on. So it was a good game to watch. Obviously, it was good to see Ben King kind of start the season strong. Yeah. What did he kick? 5, I think, in the end.
5 goals, 1, I think.
Yeah, so, and he can be a bit wayward, a bit like actually less so than his brother, but yeah, still very much like a Harry Mackay. He can be a bit wobbly in front of the sticks from time to time. It was good to see him kind of start strong, especially as I am kind of picking him for a finals berth this year. So good on him.
We'll see.
It sucked in Richmond.
Sucked in Richmond. We have to talk about Matty Rao though. I put up an alert on Twitter at halftime. Matty Rao's had 13 clearances in the first half. I'm thinking, he'll probably get another couple more. But no, finished the game with 20 clearances, the most in about second most all time. I think after Paul Salmon in the 90s.
Yeah, Paul Salmon in 1998.
Crazy stuff. He was incredible. Hopefully he keeps it going, and hopefully I think everyone in the AFL world wants Matt Rao to have a good run at it. I don't know if everyone's second favourite team is the Gold Coast Suns, but we don't really have those rivalry with the Suns yet. They haven't burnt us in a final, or ripped our heart out like Nick Davis. We can say his name these days because he's been on the channel. But yeah, so we haven't got that hatred of the Gold Coast Suns yet. So I'm quite happy to say I want good things for them this year, as long as it's not at our expense. I'm more than happy for that. Go your hardest. And yeah, look, this was probably the other thing in this game was the Hardwick versus Richmond element, the drama around that. So it's all just the AFL just trying to manufacture a bit of drama. But
I mean, it was always going to happen at some point. Like whenever their paths crossed, it was just, I think, a little bit of extra theatre to do it in round 1 or round 0, whatever. And look, I did like it that, there was enough of the Richmond faithful there that whenever Dimmer would pop up on the big screen, the boos would come and then the Gold Coast fans would start cheering him straight afterwards, just once they realised what was going on. They're a bit slow up there in Queensland. So, bunch of nuffs, actually. But
that's why we love them.
But yeah, I mean, like it was good theatre, I guess, in that sense.
It was good. It was good. It's a shame Dusty didn't get to play. I think the result might have, the game itself might have played out slightly differently. I'm not sure if the result would have changed, but
Dusty, Tom Lynch, there was a few of their best that weren't there.
Yep. So it's good luck getting your best 23 on the pitch or the field every week. There's not many teams that can do that. So there's usually someone out. We thought we were going into this year with a pretty strong side at Geelong. We've got Cam Guthrie out again, so who knows if he'll still
grow
be
the hair, Cam.
Grow that hair back. They're just like the picture, just like that, Cam. That's what we want. All right, so now, Paul, are you ready? Have you got your finger on the button, Paul? Because Paul loves
finger on the button.
Paul gets very excited. I'll let fire away, Paul.
When there's a big sound in the air.
Направление? Какое направление? Well, there's a big sound from the west of the town. It's the sound of the mighty giants.
All right, out of here, Dimitri.
And that could be a regular feature on this show in weeks to come. If as I predict, Paul.
There's my number 2 team. That's my number 2 team.
That's your number 2 team. If the GWS Giants do well this year, and I am predicting them to finish top of the ladder. I'm not saying they win in the premiership, but I did predict in our season preview video that the Giants would go top. So not quite top at the moment. The Gold Coast Suns are there, but it was I liked what I saw from the Giants in this game, Paul. I don't think Collingwood fans have got too much to worry about either. I thought it was probably the best game of the round in terms of quality. What did you take from it?
Yeah, it was definitely the best game in terms of a spectacle. But you could still see that the Pies are, I think, clearly still celebrating the 2023 premiership, right down to, going to watch that movie in cinemas only a week and a half ago. They're still talking about it. Like, they just, all right, guys, you won the flag. Your fans are obnoxious as is. Let them take care of it. Let the likes of Swoop talk it all up. Sorry, Swoop, we love you, mate. Let Swoop keep talking about 2023, but you guys need to shift your focus to 2024. And I don't know if they've quite done that yet, to be honest. So we'll wait and see. But they're going to be a dangerous team all year, and I'm sure I think I still tipped them to win the flag I think I tipped the Lions, but I tipped them to play in the grand final. So they'll be fine, I think. But yeah, not the best of starts, and they want to shake that rust pretty soon.
Hopefully the wheels fall off. I think they'll be okay. I think if you want to get a team like that round 1 or round 2, really, when they're still a bit rusty. You don't want to get Collingwood when I don't know. I think we only play them once, thankfully, but you don't want to get them when they've hit their stride about halfway through the year or 3/4 into the year. That's not when you want to get them, and they will get there. I'd be shocked if they didn't finish top 4 this year. I wasn't completely surprised that Geelong bottomed out after winning the premiership because of the age of the list. That can sometimes happen, but
Collingwood, and we had some silly luck.
Yeah, we had bad luck.
Round 18 is when we played
looking pretty good. They should be fine to compete again in the top 4. So, I don't know. I liked back to GWS for a second, and don't play the song again just yet. But I really liked Callum Brown. I thought he stood up. I thought he kicked about 3 goals in a quarter at once. I was like, oh, hang on. And I don't know if you saw But they must have been playing his song or something like that every time. A bit like Country Road or whatever for.
Oh, geez, didn't the
Charlie
Brisbane
Campbell.
supporters get into that one when Charlie kicked? There was one in particular where it just kept going. I think there was a little bit of a halt and play afterwards, and the
going
song
on
just
here?
kept going, and they loved it.
But every time Callum Brown's song on, he's sort of bopping away like that. That was great. It's like, this guy's into it. He's having a good old time. So yeah, he was great. I thought he was fantastic. I thought pretty much across the board, Giants were very solid. A couple of injuries. Well, the main injury coming out of the game for them is the Callan Ward one, looks like, which if you ask him, he didn't even get injured because he didn't even realise he'd done a shoulder. He just kept playing.
Didn't want to go off.
Basically, his collarbones gone in 3 different directions, but he didn't want to come off. And there was a certain bloke from Collingwood, mate, at the start of the game, but I might let you have a chat about this one.
Well, just before I get to that one, just on the Callum Brown one, I feel like Collingwood supporters are looking at GWS's Callum Brown, and there's that Simpsons meme, the barbecue one. Why doesn't mine look like that?
Yes.
Considering their run of a Callum Brown.
Exactly.
I think that applies to them too. But yes, you alluded to before the Nuff of the week that we're going to have for the show, and that is absolutely big Mason Cox this week. And it begin I don't even know where to start with this meathead. I mean, he's already kind of flying on into the country and thinking he's God's gift to the world and all that sort of thing. First American to ever do it and win a premiership. Congratulations, Mason, but you're a bandwagon jumper. From there, he then starts talking a bit of smack. I think it was about November time when he was talking about playing in showgrounds and whatnot for GWS. Congratulations to the GWS social team and all the work they did around that.
Exactly.
But Mason, I don't know. Was he trying to lean into the theatrics? I don't know, but he got it completely wrong, and he decided to take on Mummy, big Shane Mumford, during the GWS warm up. Just nudged him out of the way for a little hit out. He's received the please explain from the AFL tonight, which is good because, mate, you're a meathead, absolutely thick as a couple bricks. And not only that, not only did you try and lean into the theatrics and fail pretty miserably at that, but on top of all of it, you didn't touch the ball for the first half. The GWS supporters were there ready to boo you, and you couldn't get your hands on the ball, so they were a bit underwhelmed. 5 in the second half and did absolutely nothing. Mason, you're a hack. Get out of here.
You've had your time.
Ship on off back to America.
Somehow you've won a premiership. Somehow, I don't know how you did, but you must have been at the right place at the right time, hitting some form. Oh, hang on. What's this livestock reference that hang on, either moment. Got to admit the livestock reference was funny. What was that about? I didn't catch that.
That's the whole, he was talking about basically the areas like showgrounds and farmland and all that sort of stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
The GWS social team set up a little animal farm on the outside of the stadium and put a big picture of Mason Cox next to it.
Okay.
It was awesome. They did an amazing job. Again, shout out to the GWS social team. They're guns at what they do. There is no social team that is better than the GWS social team. Sorry, Cats team.
Sorry, and sorry to the Hoops crew, Colin, who does the social accounts on the Hoops crew.
Oh yeah, Colin, yeah.
Colin.
He's got to lift.
Take some notes. Follow the GWS team. Get there. He was an idiot. But apparently there's another version. Apparently he's got if you want to see his version of it, you've got to watch his YouTube show where he's going to explain it. So it almost seems like he did that deliberately to get some clicks. Maybe content. He's got some content on his show which he'll explain his side of things. Apparently, there's another side to it, which I don't know where he's coming from there. Anyway. All right. Oh, Jake's on the channel. Hang on a sec. What's Jake saying?
Colin is a moron. Speaking of bigger flogs than Mason Cox.
Now, I've got to say, Colin on the buttons is all over the shop tonight. So it's either up or it's not, Colin. Push the button or not. Yes, Colin is a moron. He's giving Mason Cox a run for his money, that's for sure. Thanks for joining us on the channel, Jake. Paul, any other things from that Collingwood GWS game? I think GWS for me, and I've got to be raging premiership favourites. Half a round into the season, clearly, apart from the Cats, clearly. But yeah, GWS looked the best team for me. I personally don't think Collingwood was too far behind. A couple of straighter kicks, possibly.
Well, let's be real. Collingwood had more scoring shots. It's just that they were highly inaccurate while the Giants were. So, it's hard to get a total read. We'll just have to wait and see next week, how they shape up against their next opponent. Who do the Pies play in the next game? I'll take a bit of a look at that. But
Sydney, maybe.
Yeah, actually, that sounds right. I feel like they were back to back. Of course, we don't want them traveling any more than 3 or 4 times for the year. So let's give them back to back games in Sydney, so they don't have to leave.
Yeah, no,
Enough.
I think that'll be
they
a
play
good
the
game.
Swans Friday night.
Yeah, Swannies are a pretty good side. I don't know. I think it'll be a pretty even contest, that one. I'm not too sure, but I probably.
Actually, they play the Swannies in Melbourne, so I don't know. So let me walk all that back.
Melbourne. Well, there you go. Unfurling of certain premiership banners and all that crap. Anyway, good on them. They're probably going to get
Toothless
there.
will be loving it.
Oh, yeah, he will be loving it. Now, we did put the call out on the community tab on the YouTube channel and on Patreon as well for any questions or topics that people might have on the show. And Colin is really onto it here. Well done, Colin. You've been paying attention. Good job. So we asked for comments and questions.
Went well.
And I guess that is what this show is about. We want your feedback. We want feedback. We want your comments. We want your topics. Help us sort of shape this show a little bit. So Josiah says, honest opinion on who the coaches need to stop playing and let the young boys take their spot. So probably some of the older boys that come to mind for me. And don't get me wrong. I think, Paul, you agree. We love Zach Tui. But for me, it's probably I queried that he went on again this year. And I thought, okay, as long as he's not playing 23 games and keeping a young guy out of the side, if he's better than anyone else, he'd have to be absolutely having the year from heaven, really. There's so many young guys we've got to start bringing through. He's probably the one that stands out to me. Is there another one for you, Paul, that you think, oh, maybe it's time to give him 10 or 15 games and let some other guy share the spot a little bit?
Look, he's not quite as old as Zach Tui, but Collar is in a dangerous spot, I think, at the moment.
Yeah.
With the young bloke starting to push through, the likes of Sully, we'll make it challenging for him over the course of the next few years. His age might work in his favour in that you might have the likes of Zach Tui and those sort of guys retire, which will then keep another spot for him. Not saying that Zach's this year, but imminently, I think within the next 12 to 24 months for sure. That might be the opportunity for Collar, where he gets to stick around as kind of one of the senior citizens of the defensive lineup. But yeah, he's the one for me because I felt like he's been kind of right on the fringe for a while.
The other one for me is probably, I don't want to pick it on the old blokes, but this is probably Collar Dashney, he's not that old, but Mitch Duncan's the other one that, I've liked what I've seen so far in the preseason. He's wasted a little bit of it the other day, but he looks okay at the moment. Thank God he's not injured. Most years he's always injured to start the year off.
Half or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so I think nature will take its course with that one. He'll probably get injured again at some stage, and that'll free up some games for some players. But Jake in the comments down below, and I won't pull it up just yet because we've still got Josiah on the screen. But Jake's saying we've got to get Oisin Mullen. He could be a bit of a danger to some of those guys. Colin, well done. You've done it again. You're on the ball. But yeah, Mullen, I reckon, could be the one that I was hoping we'd see 5 or 6 games from him last year, which he got. I'd like to see another 10 or 12 from him this year to build on that from the year before. That'd be ideal if we can. But yeah, that's probably where I'm at. Thank you, Colin. Good job. Hey, Rise. Oh, hang on. Another Colin, you are doing very well. We don't normally give Colin many comments, but 100 games, 100 days says we have so many mids to blood, don't we?
And that I guess to the other half of the question, I know we kind of focused a bit on the defensive side, but like some of these guys, the Jai Clarks and whatnot of the world, and the Tanner Bruins will need to take these kind of center stage spots sooner or later. And, so that puts Danger, that puts Guthrie, that puts Mitch Duncan, that puts Tommy Atkins is not quite in that sort of age bracket. But, those senior citizens of our midfield, Max Holmes is obviously also one of the young guys coming through. There's a queue of them that are starting to build and they need spots. So the questions will get asked sooner or later.
eventually. You've got to give them some games. And sometimes you've got to give them games even when they haven't deserved it. Sometimes. Ideally, you want that not to be the case. But you've got to get games in it, guys, at some point. All right. Now, next week, Paul, just have a quick look ahead to next week. We've got the Saturday night game at Kidinia Park or GMHBA, depending on who sponsors you. Cats versus the Sainers, 40,000 capacity. I'm a bit nervous that the club keeps telling everyone to buy a ticket. I was hoping that it would have been sold out by now, but I can't believe that Saturday night you haven't sold this thing out. What are you doing? If you're watching this live right now, if you're watching this on replay, hurry up and get a ticket. I'm hearing that the weather's going to be perfect. I don't know that, but I'm just going to go along with that for a second. It's going to be 22, beautiful. Wear your shorts and T-shirt. Watch the Cats win by 80, and Joel Selwood to do something special.
22 on Saturday. My weather app tells me you've just nailed.
Oh, really? So I was pretty close.
In
I was just talking
a lot of crap there, so
absolutely talking crap there, but that's okay.
We're going. You're going.
You're going to go. You're going.
I'm going.
I'll be there. I've got my seat.
Yeah.
I've got my season tickets now. I'm laughing. I'm going to have a good
Where's your seat? I don't need the specifics. I mean,
no,
we can ask everyone if you like.
No, I might, if I remember to put it in the comments, I'll let people know. Because come over because if anyone wants to buy me a beer, that's fine. No, just kidding. Just getting a big head. As soon as we get 1,000 subscribers, just the head just blows up, doesn't it, mate? No, look, come and say hi. I'll be near the opposition interchange bench, about 3 rows from the front there. So we don't have any hoops identification, do we? Any kind of hoops hat or T-shirt or polo?
No, but I think I told you last year that from the Geelong and Port game when I went along that there was someone that recognised me there at one point, which was very, very cool. Very big shout out to that person. Sorry, I don't think I caught your name because it was a very quick in passing sort of conversation. But of course, if anyone sees us there, feel free to stop and say hi and
buy Paul a beer.
I'm tagging along with my old man because he's got some reserve seats in the Selwood stands. So if anyone sees me, stop me, say hello, and leave my dad perpetually confused. It'll be great.
Beautiful. Who's your quick tip for that game, mate? We're going to save it for the chaps for Thursday night on the Chaps Chat Cat show. They're going to do their preview, so that one. But who's your quick tip for this game?
Cats, 24 points.
That's 24 points.
Taking the P155 out of the Saints, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm a bit nervous because we got smashed by the Saints until round 23 or round 24 or whatever it was last year. Didn't make the finals. I think Cats will win, but the crowd is going to get pretty annoyed when Saints hit the front in the fourth quarter, and we're going to have to somehow find our way to hit the lead again. I think the crowd will get us over the line. I'm looking at you, if you turn up and sell out this bloody place, yes, I think Cats will still get the job done there. And it looks like Jake from the chats are definitely coming, which is nice. And we'll all have to catch up somewhere at some point. But yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Beautiful. So that sounds good. So, all right. So I did mention the chaps. Now, the chaps, they do their weekly review or recap of the game. Now, Cats haven't played this week, so we're not doing a recap this week as such. We're doing the annual Stonk extravaganza. So who will you buy? Who are you holding and who are you selling in terms of Cats players? So you got to stay tuned for that episode. That'll be dropping probably after 9ish or something like that. Jake will probably let me know in the comments there. Something like that Monday night. So stay tuned for that one. Now, Paul, you've got a big guest coming on Behind the Play on Tuesday as well. Who have you got coming this Tuesday?
I mean, you know that better than I. I record all the videos and then you schedule them. But who are we changing to? It's Doc Peter Larkins this week.
Dr. Peter Larkins, Mr. Medical.
Absolute gem. I think it might be the longest episode that I've done for the show up to this point. But it was a ripper. So people should absolutely tune into that one. 7:00 on Tuesday. It'll be on the Behind the Play podcast feed as well. People should absolutely go and check it all out. It's nice to have the show up and running for the year after Busey going up this past week and Doc Peter Larkins and some really cool guests still to come. It's great to be up and running.
We've got
about 11 or 12 backlogged at this point. We're almost good for half a season. So
that's right. That's 100% right. If you are a Patreon member, you would have already had access to the Dr. Peter Larkins episode and the Jed Buse one. We try to drop those ones, all our episodes on Patreon a week early. But you can also, if you're not up for that, that's fine, no big deal. You will get it. There's public access for all these videos and all this, everything we do on the network. You can get it on YouTube, which you're watching now. Clearly, you might be listening to it, but we also have it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. Oh, that's nice of you there. Love behind the plate. Oh, doesn't that? Look at Paul's face. Look at him.
Look at
He's
Colin.
going all
Colin's
pink.
nailed it.
He's
Thanks,
getting all rosy
and thanks 100
a
games, 100
lovely
days.
compliment there. But you'll get your name brought up on the screen if you give Paul a compliment. Don't worry. Colin and Paul are very tight. So, yeah. Paul looks after Colin pretty well. I don't treat him that nicely, but Colin, they get on pretty well. Now, Paul, how many tips did you get? Because this is my little segue to. I got 3 out of 4. How many tips did you get right? Did you do your tips?
I did do my tips. I could never let Rach down like that.
No.
How many did I get? I need. Oh, geez. Hang on. I can't remember what I tipped.
While you're thinking about that, I'll just a quick plug for Rachel. Rach Danderfield does her tips with us every Wednesday now. It usually drops about 4:00 on a Wednesday, so plenty of time to watch her. The videos go for about 5 minutes or so. I think the first one was a bit quicker because it was only an opening round. There wasn't that many games, but Rach is going to talk about how she went the week before. She's going to give her tips, and if we're lucky, I think she might even have some footage from the game or from her time at the games or whatever. She's not promised that, but she said that might happen from time to time. She might be able to squeeze in a bit of footage as well. So the last episode we did, that actually did huge numbers, Paul. I don't know if you saw the stats on that one, but
I did, yeah.
Rachel's like, oh no, I didn't go that well, but Rach, I thought you were great. So check that one out if you want your tips. And normally, I think Rach might have got 2 out of 4, so she probably won't be too happy about that start. But sure, Rachel is an absolute gun tipper, and she probably will finish top 5 in most competitions that she's in. So there you go, Rachel. I've set the bar very high for you now, so you can't fail anyone who watches. Now, we've already talked about the chaps, but I will just say again, they do a preview show every Thursday. So the big preview show, the first preview show of this year is this Thursday, so you cannot miss that one. That usually goes for between 30 and 45 minutes, so they really, really dig deep into those ones. And if you want to dig even deeper, I think there's an extra 10 or 15 minutes on the Patreon version of that as well. So again, check that one out. I think it's like $5 a month, Paul, is that right? Something about $5 a month.
Yeah, something like that.
And it might even be a free trial at the moment, a 7-day free trial. So if you're not sure that we're worth it, and you just want to have a bit of a sticky beak and say, what's this all about? They keep talking about Patreon.
We are.
Stop flogging your bloody Patreon. But yeah, it's free at the moment, so go check it out. It can't hurt. Now I haven't
2
done
for me
this
in the tips this week, by the way.
2. Oh, there you go. Come and talk to me. I got 3. So
Got the Giants and Pies and got the Brisbane and Carlton result wrong. So
guess who's coming third in the? Oh no, am I third? No, that's the work comp. I must be coming like 5th or something in the Hoops Crew network footy tipping thing. So I think that we had about 250 people in that one. So I reckon we might have a prize for that. But I haven't worked out what the prize is going to be. But we'll definitely have a prize. I reckon we should have a prize for this show, Paul. We'll work whether it's a trophy, whether it's some kind of an actual prize where we can give it to send it out to someone, or they can go and collect it from somewhere. We'll have to sort something out. But if you got any thoughts on that, people watching in the chat, please let us know.
Give us a yeah.
Paul is very generous with the extra bowls of gruel. Don't you love a bit of gruel? I've never had it myself, but can you buy it at Woolies? Gruel? I don't know. Canned gruel? I'm not sure.
Doubt it.
Maybe not. I'm not sure. But yes, you are very generous. The extra bowl, especially on Christmas, a little bit extra there for him as well. Now, Paul, another new show. We're rolling out all these new shows this year because we are absolutely packing the content, packing the schedule on this channel and all the other channels that we've got as well, and the audio. But we've got Last Time We Met, which is hopefully, if the YouTube allows me, I'll show some footage from the last time we played St Kilda in a little box on the corner of the screen somewhere down below, and I'll comment on, give my thoughts about it. I'll try and upload it nice and early in case they block it and I can sort of appeal the decision and all that sort of stuff. But YouTube, if you're watching, we're just commenting. We're just giving our thoughts on. We're not actually stealing your footage. We're reacting to the footage. Goodness me. It's probably more AFL really that needs to.
Yeah, I think it's probably the host broadcaster that might be the issue.
It's not like I'm ripping off your broadcast. I'm just repurposing it. I'm promoting the game, for goodness sake. I'm sure every other YouTuber is probably saying the same thing. So that'll be Friday. And then Saturday night, if you can't sleep because you've just seen the Cats come back from 2 goals down in the fourth quarter, the crowd's been roaring. You can actually feel the ground, the Selwood stand shaking, and you can't sleep. Well, guess what? We've got post-game live at around about 11 o'clock, thereabouts, as soon as I get home pretty much, and I'll turn the computer on and all that. So make sure you check that one out. The last time we did post-game live, did some huge numbers, and I really enjoy that. And we'll get lots of people on. What is post-game live? Well, basically it's talkback radio, but with webcams. So if you want to get on with that, if you want to come on the show, talk about how the Cats went, talk about why you, heaven forbid we lose, but if we do lose, come and vent. I'm happy to hear it all. Paul, you've been on that show a couple of times, once or twice, I think. But
yeah, I'll have to try and find a way. I'll be driving home from Geelong, and it's
driving home.
Bit of a commute compared to yours. So
we might have to get you to do an instant reaction or something at the ground after the game. We might post that somewhere. We'll see how we go. If we can't get you on the post-game live, we'll try and get you on that one. I've banged on about Patreon enough, but it's there again, $5 a month, extended early release, exclusive stuff on there as well. So make sure you check that one out. And yeah, that will be us, Paul, for the first episode of Full Enough Mode. A little bit slow out of the gate, but I think we'll get there. I think we need to get a little bit more comments in the chat. And thank you for 100
dial
names,
up the stupidity.
100 names. Bring your full Nuff every week, everyone. If you're watching this, we really need you to just bring your full Nuff mode. I'm going to try and Nuff it up even more from week to week. So I might be slightly different than my normal sort of, I wouldn't call it professional, but I'll be a little bit more. I'll try and be a little anything but I'll try and be even more anything but a bit looser in future episodes as well. All right. Thanks, guys. Don't forget, hit that like, share, and subscribe. Go Cats, and we'll see you in the next one. Deborah.